Hi everybody, it's Mallory Smythe with Endow. So on Monday, I'm reading through the daily readings and I came across Isaiah 49. Now Isaiah 49 is one of my favorite Bible verses in the Old Testament, and every time I come across it, I try to memorize it. I just love it. And the reason is that the first time I think I really digested it, I saw God's character revealed in two ways. The first is that while we know God is faithful, I think sometimes we forget to look for it in reality. And there's a verse in here that just shows that God's faithfulness, we can see his faithfulness. We can see his promises playing out throughout history. And the second is that God is not a God who objectifies his people. He doesn't use us. He loves us. And he lovingly includes us in his life and in his plan for salvation. And so the more that we allow him to move in us, the more he brings us into the glory of this story. And so this is what it says. And it's talking about Israel. That's what it's talking about. But it says, "Hear me, O coastlands. Listen, O distant peoples. The Lord called me from birth. From my mother's womb, he gave me my name. He made me a sharp-edged sword and concealed me in the shadow of his arm. He made me a polished arrow in his quiver, and he hid me. You are my servant," he said, "Israel, through whom I will show my glory." And then it goes on, it says, "It is too little," he says, "for you to be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and restore the survivors of Israel. I will make you a light to the nations, that my salvation will reach the ends of the earth." Now, I remember sitting in a holy hour in the Andes Mountains on a mission trip in Peru, reading Isaiah 49, reading the words that my salvation will reach the ends of the earth. And surely we can see in 2019 that it did. How many tabernacles are there in the world? How many people are there in this world professing faith in Jesus Christ? Through God's great plan, his salvation surely has reached the ends of the earth. Yes, could more people come to know him? Absolutely. Do we need revival? Of course. But there is an opportunity at every corner of the world for people to come and to know Jesus Christ. And we can see that happen from this promise to now. For his faithfulness is on history. And the second is when he says, "It is too little for you to be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Israel and restore the survivors of Israel." Right there, that's incredible. If God were just to invite us to be his servant, right, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and restore the tribes of Israel, that's already incredible. And yet he says there's more. I have more for you. He says, "I will make you a light to the nations, that my salvation will reach the ends of the earth." Now, this reading was on the feast of the Nativity of John the Baptist. It's also read sometimes talking about Jesus, of course, and that through God's people, through the people that he loves, and for the people that allow him to work through them, he makes them a light to the nations so that his salvation can continue to reach the world. This is the story that we are part of. This is the story that has been playing itself out over all of eternity, and that we as Catholics are invited into, to know, to understand, and to participate in. So if you want to know more about how you fit into this glorious story of Catholicism, I invite you to dive into an Endow study to learn more about who you are and more just about the players and the times and the ways that God has put his hands on history. You can go to www.endowgroups.org, or you can connect with us at Endow Groups on Facebook and Instagram. Have a great week.